Hello everyone, and welcome to Analysis. Here I talk about different topics that pervade video game culture, from retro gaming to the big name FPSs. Today we're going to talk about a big topic, gay culture. Not just the people, but everything in the LGBTQ spectrum. Primarily those themes that touch on the oh-so-sacred realm of video games. First, we must state without a doubt that the video game community is dominated by white, straight, young males. Primarily young adults. From the realms of Azeroth to the battlefields of Call of Duty, these white boys are the majority, and with that majority comes compliance. In most cases, a majority population will be the power holders within a society, meaning they get the best toys, the best seats at the local Little League games, and the most privileges. We already stated who the majority is. But now, how does this affect the games that are made? This means game developers, or a lot of them at least, will tend to avoid themes that step on the toes of the majority demographic. A big game franchise that tends to this demographic is the Call of Duty game series, where you fight as a man, a very manly man, from Western society fighting against terrorist factions from an unspecified location in Eastern Europe or the Middle East. I'll touch on this topic in a later video. But here we see game after game of manly soldier men killing manly soldier men. Why? Because that's what the majority likes. This isn't to say that a gay man can't like a Call of Duty game. Sure, there's game series like Persona that break this mold, and with the introduction of more same-sex options in Mass Effect 2 and 3, there is a greater dichotomy. But for the most part, sexual and gender minorities are represented very poorly in video game culture. Example 1. I'm sure everyone has heard of Trevor Phillips from Grand Theft Auto 5. For starters, we need to state for the fact that it is canon that Trevor Phillips seems to enjoy sexual relations with people of the same gender. But we should also mention he's out of his flippin' mind. He's bipolar, insanely bipolar. Bipolar type 1 to be more exact. Trevor would be a good character if he wasn't a caricature. Mental illness and sociopathic intent has always been related to gender and sexual minorities for decades. Until 1974, homosexuality was listed in the DSM as a mental illness. In Western society, homosexual and bisexual characters in the mainstream are portrayed as villains, and/or severely mentally ill, and/or inhuman. Take a look at Raul Silva, from the James Bond movie Skyfall. Yes, I know it's not a video game, but hold on. I'm not denying that Mr. Silva was a great Bond villain, probably one of the best from the more recent movies. But remember, he's a villain, a mentally unstable, gay, revenge-obsessed villain. There are examples everywhere. Poison from Final Fight, transgender woman, and villain. Flea from Chrono Trigger, a gender-fluid person, and villain. Alfred Ashford in Resident Evil Code Veronica cross-dresses as his dead twin sister, out of his flippin' gourd, and villain. But don't worry, some characters are allowed to be sexual minorities. In Saints Row 2 and 3, the white female protagonist, bisexual. No one else. Just the white female protagonist. Heather from Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, implied lesbian. Mass Effect 2. Note that this is one of my favorite games of all time. Only FemShep can have same-sex options. It's kind of messed up. Are you noticing a theme here? Just a hint. Lesbians good, everything else bad. But don't worry, not all lesbians are good. Just look at the Bailey twins from Dead Rising 2. Gay, incestuous villains. But hypersexualized, so don't worry, they still fit the mold. Just look at their outfits, for Pete's sake. But despite the hypersexualization of lesbians and the demonization of everything else, some game developers break the mold and make positive characters that would fit in LGBTQ society. Maya from Borderlands 2, asexual. A confident, superpower-wielding badass is asexual. Axton from the same game, out of his flippin' mind, but a main character in a positive image. He's bisexual. Seriously, look it up. In The Last of Us, one of the best games of all time, Ellie was written as a gay character. She even has a kiss with their female character in the DLC. Bill from the same game, implied as gay. Tony from Earthbound, not gay, but has a crush on Jeff. And my personal favorite example, have you all heard of Gone Home? Samantha, the main protagonist Caitlin's younger sister, is a lesbian in a relationship with another character named Lonnie. A very positive relationship. It's even shown that they help each other out at multiple times during the game. Or at least that's what you hear from the story. A positive, unsexualized, romantic lesbian relationship in a game. As you can all see, There are a ton of negative and positive examples of people who would fit under the gender and sexual minority umbrella. And we can see that there is a shift in gaming culture from one view to another about the LGBTQ lifestyle. But a lot of positive examples get swept under the rug, or are just plain ignored by the majority, because they don't fit their ideas of video games. Video games are taking a turn towards gender and sexual equality, it seems, despite the majority. Let's hope we see positive examples of gay and genderqueer characters in the future. But hey, I may be overthinking this a little bit. Thanks for watching. Shout out to the FUgameCRUE. These guys are seriously funny, and you should really take a look at their videos. Also, you can find me at Twitter at BenMayOA.